So that essentially what that means is if the healthcare worker has not seen you take the pills, that means you haven't taken the pills. So they were doing this with a paper-based model. They found that there was a lot of fraud. So eventually they converged onto a biometric model. Right? So the patient has to come and sign in and take the pills. So you can imagine how that now we can very easily build on that to have a patient database. Another device is this one. It's called BioSense. It's developed by a company in India. It's smartphone-based. And this is a urine test that they have. Essentially what it does is, so you have these little strips in this bottle. You dip it in urine, and it's just a biochemical reaction, right? So these colors here are the reference colors for each of the conditions. And you put the strip in the slot next to it. You slide it in, and this phone takes a picture of it, and just as a color comparison, right, between the starting color and the reference color. And depending on how much it has changed, the smartphone has a software to say what your bilirubin content is, what your iron content is, and so on and so forth. Right? It's urine, so there are limits to what you can tell with the urine test. But more importantly, if you combine these two, what you get is you're able to track every patient's health. And so what we're able to do now is incentivize these clinicians and say, your job is to get patients in the door, and you'll get cash for this. Figure out how you do it because it's your community. Virtually all the health workers and clinicians are from the community. So your job is to get more people in the door, and every patient will know how their health. We know what their health metrics are because we have things like that. Right? And if it's an HMO model, it doesn't cost them any more to come each time. Right? So this way we can actually compensate the clinicians and incentivize them on health outcomes. Right? So some of these devices are pretty close to ready for deployment. Some of them we probably won't use. It looks fabulous in PowerPoint, and we have to actually go do it. So our first clinic will be up and running in January, and then we learn whether the fabulous theory works. Thoughts, criticisms, questions? Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about how will you know if it works?
Yeah. So there is So one of the things that's happened in Kenya is that just last year, again, things just coming together. Right? The country went from a district-based administrative structure like states here. I believe there were 9 districts, to county level. So there are no districts anymore. There are only counties. Some of these counties have exceptional governance. This happens to be pretty good. And what that means is there's very good baseline data on maternal mortality, right? And all of these basic statistics that we're trying to optimize around. And there are only 2 metrics that matter. How many people are coming in, and how are they doing over time, right? We have the baseline, and given that the baseline is so bad, there has to be, not only do we have to do better than the baseline, but there have to be improvements. We'll figure out what an appropriate high water mark is. But it's very straightforward. So there's no need for randomized control trials because there's no healthcare right now. It's not like they're choosing between 2 reasonably comparable healthcare options. And also, if people are paying for it, they're smart enough to decide, right? So one way I think about this model is, when I buy, let's say one of the products we're trying to build is a low-cost fridge for farmers, right? When I buy a fridge, no one's coming and doing RCTs on me to see whether my life is getting better, right? If people are spending their hard-earned money on something, they're reasonably smart, right? They can figure out if it's not working for them. It's only in a subsidized model where RCTs are important, where the decision maker is not spending the money, right? So here, because people are spending hard-earned money, personally, if we're able to improve outcomes along a very specific and measurable set of parameters, and they're making the decision to come back, to me, that's good enough.
We should probably wrap up.
Cool.
We ended at 5 before.
Excellent.
So thank you very much, Shashi. Right? I really liked all the background you did to justify the need in this space and what a solution would have to entail.
I could have just given you the answer.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah.
So anyway, Shashi's going to be speaking in an hour and a half at the Tata Pro Seminar. That's going to be held in E62 233 You're all welcome to come. You're giving a quite different talk.
A very different one, yeah.
Yeah, very different talk, so we'll rerun of what you just saw. So come along.